Hello and welcome to the next in my much more irregular than planned series about airbrushing for total noobs. And this video is entitled I absolutely suck at airbrushing. So I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you what my plan is to do something about that. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from you as well in the comments if you have your own experiences and your own feelings about this, and any positive suggestions for how I and other people like me can overcome this problem. So I'm going to point the camera a little bit differently. I'm going to sit down on my sofa and going to talk to you briefly, not for very long, about the situation that I find myself in. So yes, I suck at airbrushing. This is something I've come to realise over the past month or so, because in that time I've tried to do it twice, which is part of the problem, which I'll come to. The first time I tried to prime a horse and a rider, which is a very small amount of work, and I spent about 45 minutes on this one model, and in that time I basically cleaned the entire airbrush 3 times. I managed to get the model primed, don't get me wrong, and it's good, and I've been able to paint it since, but yeah, 45 minutes to prime one miniature is not efficient and not really what I'm looking for from an airbrush. And then yesterday evening I failed to even prime 2 teeny tiny fishes that are about this long. And yeah, I threw my toys out the pram metaphorically, and I was very, very close to packing the whole kit up, putting it in its box and pretending I'd never bought it. Which is quite sad because I was very excited when I received it, as you will know if you've watched this series, and I was really excited and really looking forward to producing some good quality stuff, not pushing myself and not necessarily expecting myself to do something to Angel Giraldez's standard or whoever. Massive inspiration for me, and I've watched lots of his videos. He makes it look very easy. But I did expect to at least be able to prime, you know, chuck some grey paint on it. And yesterday all I got was either nothing or huge spurts and sprays coming out all over my painting booth, and that was very, very dispiriting, I can tell you. And I did then use the hairy stick and I painted everything I needed to do in about a quarter of the time that I'd spent wasted looking at this airbrush. However, wasted? Maybe, maybe not. So I really do suck at airbrushing. I can't even prime, let alone base coat, let alone do anything else. So why? And what can I do about this? The reason why is I don't do it. And the reason I don't do it is because I'm quite scared of failing on it, and I'm scared of breaking the kit, as I've said a few times. And every time I go to it, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like I'm not getting any better. And you'll have noticed I'm a very busy person. I don't just have this video channel. I don't just do hobbies. I'm also renovating an old school, which you may or may not know, but that's a big part of it. I work full-time, I write software, I have written the tournament management system, and all sorts of other things go on in my life. I'm not the sort of person that can really afford to spend 45 minutes on something which I should be able to do in 5. And the biggest reason is I've got Rosie now, and I really, really don't want to be taking time away from her to learn how to airbrush. So the fact that I'm not very good means that I don't go and use it, which means I don't get any better. It's a vicious cycle, and I'm sure that a lot of you will experience this, and I'm sure that I'm not alone in this. I absolutely know I'm not alone in this. I don't pretend to be alone in this, but that's where I find myself. So yeah, very frustrating. It's not going to resolve itself. I'm not going to magically become good at this. I'm able to wing it in a lot of things. I'm a relatively capable person, and quite a lot of the time I'm able to just pick things up and just do it, or do it in good enough, you know, and then the confidence flows as you do it good enough, and then you start to become better, which is what's happened with my painting and my hobbying and pretty much everything else I've done in life, but not with the airbrush. I've not been able to do that, and that's unusual for me. So what am I going to do about it? In a short while, maybe next week, who knows, Rosie will start play school, so she'll be out of the house for a couple of days a week, and that means that because she's at school, there's going to be 45 minutes between when I finish my work, my paid work, and when I'll be going to collect her, which I'll get free, but it won't be taking time away from Rosie. Now, of course, I'll be quite sad because that is time I normally use and I normally spend with Rosie, and nothing gets in the way of that. But she'll be at school, so this decision is now out of my hands. And so I'm going to spend that time, 3 days a week, I think, just learning airbrush. And hopefully I will not try to do other hobby things or other things in my life in that time. I will be able to kind of wall off that time and and become better at airbrushing, and then the cycle will be broken and I'll slowly but surely keep improving and improving. So that's my plan. Obviously, it's obvious, isn't it? You know, you want to get good at something, practice. But finding time sometimes for these things, particularly these, to me, technically difficult things that actually need you to not just sit down for 2 or 3 minutes and give it a go and, oh, okay, I can do it right. It's not brilliant, but it's okay. But you actually need to really focus on this thing. It's quite hard when you're as busy as I am. So yeah, it was very, very close run thing. For a brief time there, I almost did throw it away and give it up. So anyway, that's why I suck at airbrushing. That's what I'm going to do about it. As I said in the intro, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please do pop them below. I'd be very interested to hear how you find it, if you've gone through this and resolved it, or if you've given up. Let me know. Either way, it's always cool to hear from you, and I always do reply. And thank you very much for listening to my confessional. I feel a lot better than I did last night about this, and hopefully I'll be able to, in the coming weeks and months, add more to this series and feedback how this is going and bring you along on my journey, and hopefully some of you will be joining me as well. And of course, as I always say, if you're not yet subscribed, please do consider doing so. I'd love to see you join me here, and you can then catch any videos as they come along. And if you do ding the bell and select all, then YouTube will tell you whenever one of the videos goes live. And I'll sign off by saying, please stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.